Hey there, guys, and welcome back to the Travis and Damian Podcast, episode 21. We are here to talk about the news, our recent activities, and then the PlayStation 5, and then the recent Blizzard controversy. We are available on anchor.fm/Travis Damian Podcast, along with Spotify, iTunes, and many other platforms. So, the first piece of news is that Stranger Things 4 got an official announcement. Pretty sure most people saw this one coming, but this little teaser... it's interesting, to say the least. It looks like it might take, or my theory is that for the most of the series, it's going to take place in the Upside Down, but that's just my theory.
No, I think so too, mostly because, we're not in Hawkins anymore and stuff. That could be referencing, the end where everyone's, leaving and stuff, but, it's probably referencing the Upside Down and stuff like that. So that's going to be exciting to see, more, stuff in there and, really get to know what's happening. So yeah, and I guess we get to see what happened to a certain character that's probably not dead. So we could see what happened. So yeah, I'm pretty excited for it. They announced it. We all knew it was gonna be a fourth one, obviously, because Stranger Things is probably Netflix's biggest thing right now. But hopefully it comes out sooner rather than later, because the wait from season 2 to 3 was pretty long, right? It was a year or something, or probably a little more than that. A year.
Yeah, it was over a year.
Yeah, so hopefully this comes out a bit sooner, but I guess we're just going to have to wait and see. Because, Stranger Things is great. I love the show a lot.
Yeah, it's definitely very popular amongst normies, I guess.
It is, yeah. But it's also very good. I watched it before. It was very popular, so. All right, so next bit of news here. The PS4 is going to have crossplay available for all developers. So Sony's finally going to play nice and let people play with each other if they want to. Or if developers want to, anyway.
Yeah, that was definitely very strange when Microsoft was yeah, you could play with PC players, and then Nintendo was yeah, you could play with us too, and this and that, and then Sony's just nah, we're good. I was wait, what? Obviously, in my opinion, when it comes to the console wars, I guess, if that's still a thing, I favor PlayStation just because they actually have games and they have exclusives. Xbox, they're very friendly with PC, so if you have a PC, you could play certain games on PC as well. I believe the recent Gears of War game, you could play that on PC and stuff like that. So, I'm just, very excited that we're actually going to have crossplay between everything now, because crossplay is a much more recent thing, I would say, and the fact that now everyone's playing nice is very cool.
Yeah, it honestly just helps everyone, because, if a certain multiplayer game is sort of dying and maybe not so many people are playing on Xbox, but yeah, this is actually really good for fighting games, because I know most fighting game communities are on PlayStation. That's where they play most of the time. And let's say you bought Street Fighter on Xbox and you're not getting a lot of people. If that has crossplay, just bumps the population by a lot. So it's just good for everyone, basically. Multiplayer games will have a lot more players playing, because it's every single pool of consoles and PC stuff. The only problem that crossplay has is with PC if it's a shooter, because mouse and keyboard is just going to be better than a controller, so that's always going to be a little hard to figure out. But for most other multiplayer type stuff, it's probably going to work out just fine. And crossplay is just a great thing for everyone, really. I don't know why it took Sony so long to do it. They didn't really have any advantage from not holding back on it, because it just helps your population, even for PlayStation games. So it's really great that this is happening.
Very, very cool. To those that want to play with their friends, but they just happen to not get the same console or whatever on certain games, now they can do that. All right, so this is a bit of a sad news, but I think I kind of saw this one coming.
Yeah.
The developers of the Mario and Luigi RPG series, Alpha Dream, filed for bankruptcy. So I believe within this news as well, Nintendo got the rights back for the Mario and Luigi series. I believe Alpha Dream had those rights, they were the only developers to make games under the Mario and Luigi title, I guess.
Yeah.
For that series, but I think Nintendo got that back, or something like that. That's what I read. But anyways, Alpha Dream, they filed for bankruptcy. That obviously sucks, because the Mario and Luigi games were good. I'm not gonna say the recent ones are good. Definitely Dream Team, Paper Jam, and then the remakes that they did recently with Superstar Saga and Bowser's Inside Story. weren't exactly all that popular, mainly because they were on the 3DS, especially with the remakes. But I believe Dream Team didn't meet expectations along with Paper Jam. I have not heard anyone talk about Paper Jam,
No.
despite it being like a Mario and Luigi and Paper Mario crossover. Like, that is pretty big, but no one really played it or talked about it, which is strange. But yeah, I think the main fault is the fact that they did these remakes and they were on the 3DS.
Yeah, like also because the remakes came out like so close to the Switch, like no one really cared anymore. Also, like, you know, Superstar Saga, you know, okay, that could be okay for a remake, but why are you remaking Bowser's Inside Story? Like, I'm pretty sure that game is still, like, you know, really good on the DS. Like, it doesn't really need a remake. Like, you could just re-release it with like Dream Team and like, you know, put in like a single cartridge for the 3DS and there you go. Like, you didn't have to like remake the whole thing. It doesn't really need it. And on top of that, like, you know, like you said, the last few Mario and Luigi games just haven't been that great. Like, Dream Team could have been good, but like it kind of just like, you know, wasn't at the end. Like, it was just okay. And Paper Jam I just heard like nothing about. Like, you know, it came out and then that's it. People were just disappointed with it. And it's sad because, you know, I really like the Mario and Luigi series. You know, I love Superstar Saga. I actually never played Partners in Time, but Bowser's Inside Story is fantastic. Like, I love that game. So it's sad to see they're filing for bankruptcy, but and I don't think Nintendo themselves are really gonna do anything with the series. It seems like they're really stepping away from like the just Mario RPGs in general. Like, look at the freaking Paper Mario games. Like Sticker Star is absolute garbage. Like, that game sucks. I don't even know if they actually make Paper Mario. I don't know who makes Paper Mario. It could just be Nintendo. I'm not too sure. But and Color Splash, I know some people say it was better, but still like the same thing. Like, you know, Sticker Stars. So yeah. I really don't like the direction that series is going either, and I just don't see any future for Mario and Luigi right now, which is really sad. But yeah, that's just how it is right now.
Yeah, and like, what's it called? With the whole Bowser's Inside Story remake. If you scroll down on the article, there's actually a link that'll bring you to another article that says the Bowser's Inside Story remake is one of the worst selling Mario titles to date, which is interesting.
It's really sad because, you know, I think, you know, I don't know if this is a hot take, but I do think Bowser's Inside Story is like the best out of the three. I'm not even counting Dream Team, but like, you know, out of the original three, like I think it's the best one. I know some people say Superstar Saga is, but I love Bowser's Inside Story like a lot, and it's sad that it's so low, the remake. But, you know, again, that just kind of shows you that it came out way too late in the 3DS's lifespan, and it's just like the game just didn't really need a remake either. So like it was just kind of pointless overall. So. Yeah, I guess they were just hoping by remaking it, like, you know, because, like, people love Superstar Saga and Bowser's Inside Story. You know, they probably want to make a quick buck, but I kind of just backfired, I guess, and then it just didn't sell anything, so it just wasted more resources making the remake. So, yeah, that's it's just pretty depressing overall. So,
yeah, I'm just interested to see, as a collector myself, in terms of if this game will actually be rare, because it's sold so low. Like, I believe the lifetime, according to this article, is just over 20k units, which is pretty bad.
That's horrible.
So I'm wondering if I should just buy the game and hold on to it just in case if it like becomes rare or something. I doubt it, but I might. You know, we'll just have to wait and see, because, you know, collector or like rare games, especially like newer ones, they kind of fluctuate. Like A Way Out on the PS4 recently, I checked it, it's actually like decent now. Before it was like double the price what it was before, because I think people wanted to play it like physically, like they wanted to like have the disc, but now it's like 40-50, which is like what it retailed for. But that's just me going off topic. But yeah, it just sucks that another studio is closing, and I think it's mainly because with the Mario RPG games in particular, once there's a bad one, people have a hard time going back to it.
Yeah.
You know? Like with Paper Mario, obviously, Sticker Star was complete trash. And
yeah.
It was mainly because there was like no real progression system in the game. So it really hurt the game from being like, hey, I'm actually like having fun here, and, you know, I'm doing this and I'm doing that. And then with Mario and Luigi, Dream Team kind of just didn't do all that well.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Like, yeah, it's kind of hard to recover from this, and it seems like, you know, once a Nintendo franchise has like a bad game, they just like kind of abandon it for a while, which is sad. Like, I'm pretty sure we're not gonna see a Star Fox game for a while, since Zero didn't do so hot, and then like F-Zero is still dead. So, you know, like I feel like once like a certain game series doesn't do too well, they just like kind of just put it on the back burner for a while. So, Yeah, I don't see Mario and Luigi coming back for a while. So yeah, that's pretty depressing. Like I have said.
But who knows? We'll have to just wait and see, because now that Nintendo has the rights to it, maybe they'll do something different. Who knows? Hopefully it's not too different, like with the paper or with the Mario Party stuff. But
yeah. All right,
we'll
so
have to wait and see.
yeah, there's actually a lot of PlayStation news for some reason. So PlayStation Now subscription prices have dropped. So now it's like now it's $10 monthly. It used to be $20. And then for a yearly it's like $60 like PS Plus, and from $100. I didn't even know it was that expensive. $100 for a year?
Yeah,
Jesus Christ.
No one was using this unless you actually wanted to play a couple of the PlayStation games. But yeah, when it comes to like PlayStation Now, it's $10 now, and you could play a lot of good titles, including God of War, on the PC. So that is very cool to those that don't want to buy a PS4 or anything like that. There's also a bunch of other games you could obviously play as well, but the God of War and Uncharted 4, along with GTA 5 being like the main titles here. There's also Infamous Second Son, but that one's not the best one in the series in my opinion, but it's there.
Yeah, I honestly think this price is a lot better. $20 a month, that's steep. So going to $10 a month seems a lot more like, yeah, I could get some use out of this. Like maybe like subscribe for a month, you play God of War, and then like drop off for a little bit, and maybe subscribe for another game or whatever. It seems a lot better now.
Yeah, especially since the games I just listed, they're like limited time. So God of War, Uncharted 4, and GTA 5, along with Infamous, they're available until January 2nd of 2020.
Yeah, okay.
I'm not sure why they're like cycling games out like this. I think it's just
to make people like oh, do it now, or else it's gonna go away. So like
yeah, pretty much. But those people that like to like take their time with their games, or like they don't have much time to do this or do that, it just sucks for them. But I think this model will be okay for now. We'll just have to wait and see, because they did just drop the price. So we're just going to have to see exactly how many more people start using it. I would imagine a couple more people, like a couple, maybe 100, depending on exactly how the numbers were before, you know? So we're just going to have to wait and see exactly how this goes.
Yeah.
Okay, so Kamala Khan, aka Miss Marvel, joins the Avengers game from what's it called? Goddamn, Crystal Dynamics. Yeah. So this is a much more recent character that they've created within the Marvel universe, and personally, I really like her. I just randomly started reading her books at the library, and then I was just like, this is a pretty cool character. And the fact that now she's in the game, and it looks like she's gonna be a pretty pivotal character as like one of the people that got like, I guess, changed from whatever happened after Captain America died. But yeah, it's definitely gonna be very interesting to see like exactly what her character will do. And like, all right, so I think a couple people have mentioned this, but like just seeing like the realistic hands like enlarge is kind of weird. But I'm just excited to go and see her actually get more recognition outside of just her comic book stuff. Right. So yeah.
No, I think it's cool that they do this. Like take maybe like lesser known characters. Like I feel like the biggest problem this game was having was like, you took all the popular characters, obviously, like the main Avengers, obviously. And then people just keep comparing them to the like MCU counterparts, and people's like, oh, it just looks like a knockoff or something. Like people just weren't really that happy. So maybe if you get like lesser known characters, maybe you could be like, oh, like Miss Marvel, like she doesn't really have a MCU presence at all, so they could probably like do more with her, I guess. So it'd be cool to see them do like more obscure heroes. I mean, that's what the MCU did in the first place anyway. It was took like characters no one really cared about and then make them into like big deals. So hopefully this game can also do that with some other heroes as well. But I guess we're gonna have to see. This game is still like shaky for me. Like I think I'm more optimistic than most people about it, but it's still like the direction they're going, where it's like a weird like not
realistic
MMO
sort
thing.
of
Oh, that
thing.
too. I don't know. Like it's weird. I don't know what they're doing with this game, but again, I think it's cool that they're bringing lesser known heroes and stuff. Even though Miss Marvel's a little higher known, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. The way I feel about the game is that it looks generic.
Yeah.
But I feel like once people and critics get their hands on it, that that's when the game's gonna either sell or not sell, honestly. Because like if critics are like, this game feels generic, or like, you know, switching between heroes isn't as exciting as it might be, or this and that, I think that this game's definitely on very thin ice. So once it actually comes out, I'm not exactly sure how well it'll do. I think this game will 100% rely on reception in terms of how well it'll do, which I think most games happen to be like that these days. But I think that this game in particular, definitely, like if people are like, this game sucks, this game is definitely gonna do poorly, and Crystal Dynamics are gonna suffer for it, unfortunately.
Yeah, along
with Square Enix. So
yeah, and Square, you know, Square isn't exactly in the best spot. The only game that's selling for them is freaking Final Fantasy 14. But hey, when Final Fantasy 7 comes out, hopefully that's good. But anyway, so now we got more Google Stadia news. Remember this thing? Well, it's going to be utilizing negative latency input prediction to be faster than local gaming systems. So basically it's saying like, is it going to have like no latency, even though it's like a streaming platform? So it's going to feel like, you know, you're actually like, well, apparently it's going to be faster than like something you can actually like, you know, that's not streaming, which I think is kind of BS, but because during
it's going to have like prediction latency. That's what they called it.
And I don't even know what that really means. Like, I guess it's going to like predict what input you're going to do before you do it, which I don't really know how that works.
I think that's what they're implying.
Like, if you like, I know Google likes messing around with AIs and things like that, but you know, like if you're playing like a platformer or something, and like you want to jump, and then like it like predicts like you want to like, I don't know, like hit something, I don't know, like that could lead to bad times. So I don't know how exactly this is gonna work. It's interesting, technologically is really interesting that they're using AI and stuff to like sort of like get rid of latency, like, you know, quote unquote get rid of latency by doing this weird stuff. But I really don't think... I think this system is just too experimental and too early for its time right now. Like, if this came out, like, maybe 5 years later, I think the technology would be there to make this actually, like, feasible. But right now, it just seems like they're biting too much than they could chew right now. Like, I know Google's Google, but I feel like... I just don't think the technology is there right now, you know?
Yeah. Like, streaming games in general is kind of, like, a risky sort of... endeavor, I guess. Yeah. Even with like PlayStation Now, when we were talking about it earlier, like they had to drop the price significantly, like in half, pretty much. And you know, we still don't know exactly how many people are using it. You know, and with Google Stadia, this is a completely different platform. And the only way to drive people to your platform is with exclusives. So if there's like no exclusives, there's going to be no reason for people to really pick up Google Stadia other than to just try it out, you know? Yeah. And with the prediction latency and them being like, there's going to be like no lag, or, you know, no input, you know, lag or this and that. It's kind of weird that they're thinking this far ahead. Obviously, like when you do like a streaming service, especially when it comes to like streaming a game and you have to input things so you can see it on the screen, if there is some latency, I don't think it'll kill it, but they're going like 20 steps ahead, that they're like, yo, we're going to predict where you're going to move before you even do it. And it's like, is the game just playing for me then? You know, like that is just a very weird concept to have. But we're just gonna honestly have to wait and see exactly how this works out, because those few people that do trial Google Stadia, you can damn bet that they're gonna make YouTube videos or like blog posts, Reddit posts, Twitter posts, whatever, and be like, yo, either this is actually good or like, yo, this is actually like really bad. So word of mouth will definitely play a key part within Google Stadia's success, along with exclusivity of certain games, whatever games those may be. Once again, we're just going to have to wait and see, but Google Stadia definitely is a risky endeavor, but it is Google, so if it does fail, it won't be a massive loss for them.
Yeah, they'll probably just abandon it and like move on to the next thing. But you know, it's just not like streaming like, you know, Netflix, where if the video is like maybe like not like, you know, it's like 720p and not 1080s, like, or whatever, like who cares? You know, it buffers a little bit, it's annoying, but you know, you can still watch it. When a game does that, it's just unplayable, you know? Like, you know, if you have like latency issues, or, you know, the resolution gets really bad, like, you know, this, it's just like, you know, when you have to actually input stuff, like, and like that's how games work, I just don't think streaming is there for that yet, you know? So yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how this even works, and I mean, I'm predicting this thing is gonna bomb. I just don't see this thing really working out, but we could see. It could surprise me. I don't really know, but I guess we just gotta see.
Yeah, because definitely when you're playing like an online game and you're lagging, that's the most frustrating. But I think if it's like a single player game, I think that'll be less frustrating. But still, it'll be annoying when you're like moving and then you stop and then you have to wait like a second or something like that. As long as the latency isn't like more than half a second, I think it'll be fine. But
Yeah.
once again, we're just gonna have to wait and see when this finally drops.
Oh.
All right, so recent activities. I'll go first.
Go ahead.
I only got 2 things. I played a little bit of League of Legends. I've only been playing ARAMs. I think I played maybe a couple of normal games. I don't even know, but mainly ARAMs just so I know that I could still press the buttons.
Nice.
My hands are a lot better, my wrists.
Oh, that's good.
So that is definitely very, very good. I've actually worn like my sleeves. I haven't worn them to work this entire week. And I was just trying that out to see how I would do, and I'm doing good so far. My left wrist did hurt last night, so I just put ice on it, then I went to bed.
Right.
But other than that, so far so good. And then I watched A Silent Voice. It's a movie on Netflix. It's an anime movie.
Yeah.
When this came out, a lot of people were comparing it to Your Name, which personally, in my opinion, I don't see it like that. They're both really good anime movies, and they're both very different in terms of what their stories and what they're telling, obviously. And visually, Your Name is just much better, but A Silent Voice is still a pretty good anime movie. I'm not going to say exactly what it's about because I honestly didn't know what it's about, other than it's called A Silent Voice, but it's really good. It's on Netflix. It's like 2 hours long, which I was pretty surprised by. But, that is a pretty good length, I would say, for any kind of movie. And especially an anime movie, like there's going to be so much in terms of like animation going on and this and that. But I really liked it. I really enjoyed it. Not as much as Your Name, obviously, because I think Your Name is like... It's on another level when it comes to anime movies.
It's very
in my opinion.
good. It's really good.
But A Silent Voice is on a tier below it, I would say.
Okay, that's not bad. Your Name is just like it's extremely good. So that's hard to beat or even be compared to. All right, so I guess I'll go. Haven't really been doing that much, but actually that's a lie because I have been playing a bunch of Destiny 2. It went free to play on Steam, even though I did have the game. I bought the game at launch on Battle.net. We'll talk about Blizzard, but so I bought it on Battle.net when the game launched, and my impressions were it was good. Like I thought the gunplay in Destiny is probably like some of the best gunplay I've ever like experienced in like a first-person shooter. Like Bungie really nailed the gunplay in Destiny. Like it feels so good to shoot guns in this game. It's crazy. It's probably like the main reason this series is still afloat after so many like blunders is because the game is just fun to play. Like it's just fun to shoot things, and like when that's your main driving force, and you're probably gonna have fun regardless of all the missteps Bungie does along the way. But anyway, I played it at launch. I did the campaign. I did some of the side stuff. And I basically felt like I was done with the game. Like I felt like I did everything besides the raid, but I wasn't like a hardcore like person. I'm not gonna like try that hard in this game, so I kind of just dropped it because there was like no more content for me to do. And Destiny was kind of like that until last year. The game just didn't have any content, and a lot of people were kind of just like, all right, this game kind of sucks. That was until the first expansion came out called Forsaken. I didn't get it. I wasn't really paying attention to Destiny at this time. But apparently it really brought in a lot of content, like new stuff to do, new game modes, and people are really happy with the game now. And I've always been meaning to go back to it, but now that it moved to Steam and a lot of like features are just now like, hey, you don't need to pay for anything. Like there was like 2 little mini expansions during the first year that weren't that great. Like they were fine, but they weren't that great. Well, now that's like just free for everyone, so that's great. I didn't have to pay for anything. So I booted back the game up. I made a new character and stuff. And yeah, the game is definitely has a bunch of content now. Like you have the 4 campaigns or 5 now because there was another new expansion that came out. So there's like 5 different campaigns to play through, a bunch of different planets to explore. There's PvE type stuff, so like there's dungeons and strikes and all that stuff. There's obviously PvP. You know, it feels a lot like Halo, but with like, you know, it feels like Halo Reach, where you have like abilities and crap. I know that might not be everyone's favorite, but you know, I like Reach, and the PvP could be annoying sometimes, but it's still fun. It reminds me of Halo. And then you have this cool mode called Gambit, where it's like a PvEVP thing, where it's like, you know, it's like a horde mode type thing, but you also like fight against another team of players. So you would like shoot up a bunch of enemies. They drop like these little like points. You deposit those points into like a bank, and whoever has the most points summons like a boss. And then if you kill that boss before the other team, then you win. But there's also like the PvP mechanics where someone could go into the other like players like arena and start shooting them up and stuff like that. It's a lot of fun. But yeah, the game definitely just has a bunch more content now, and the game just feels like really good to play now. Like there's just a ton of things to do. The new player experience is really weird though, because the game doesn't start you off at level 1 anymore. Like you don't like start at level 1 and then you know how the typical like MMOE type things are. Now the game just boosts you to end game. Is I just do whatever you want, and for some people that might be great, because some people don't like the leveling part and they can just get in right into the fun stuff. But for some people, it just brings them like there's just too much stuff to do, and they feel like they have no direction. Because the game, when you first make a new character, it doesn't really tell you what to do. Like it guides you to like the different activities, but it doesn't really explain itself really well. And I think that kind of hurt the game more than help it. I know some people like to just get boosted to end game and just get, you know, right away to all the good stuff, but it seems like a lot more people just like to take their time and like learn the different game systems as they come up, and I think that's a pretty valid complaint. I personally didn't have this issue because, again, I played the game at launch, so I kind of know what I was doing. But if you didn't, like, there was a lot of things I was confused by. I can't imagine someone that never even played the game before. But yeah, overall, I think Destiny is in a pretty good place. I know the game gets a lot of crap, and it kind of deserves it sometimes. But I think Bungie's been doing a pretty good job, and with them breaking free from Activision, hopefully it just gets better from here. So yeah, it's really good.
I'm not surprised that the gunplay is really good, because it's goddamn Bungie.
Yeah, it's Bungie. So you know you're expected to be good, but it feels very good. It's been a very long time since I played Halo, so I can't really compare it to Halo. But you know, I imagine it probably feel the same. So
hopefully,
yeah.
All right, so now we got a little bit of PS5 news. So they just dropped this like randomly on like a random day in the week. And they just dropped a blog post. They're like, hey guys, PlayStation 5 launches holiday 2020. And I was like, huh.
Yeah.
So they just like didn't do this during the state of play, or like it wasn't ready to like be dropped or what? Like they didn't show anything other than just tell us about a couple of key things. So it'll be actually called the PlayStation 5. Mm-hmm. So they're going to keep that going. And then it's going to launch holiday 2020, like I said. And then they have a couple of new like technological things. So haptic feedback on the new controller. So they're going to make certain technological changes to the controller. So haptic feedback, and I got a quote here. You truly feel a broader range of feedback, so crashing into the wall of a race car feels much different than making a tackle on the football field. You can even get a sense of a variety of textures when running through the fields of grass or poodling through mud. Poodling is an interesting word. But,
that is interesting.
I mean, yeah, but how much is this controller gonna cost, bro? Like,
I feel like it's like HD Rumble like times 100. I guess that's what they're doing. And personally, I don't really care. Like, you know, like the only thing I really care about in a new console is just like, you know, are their graphics better? Do you get better frame rates? You know, does it load faster? You know, all that basic stuff. Whenever they add like these like little gimmicky things like to the controllers, I just don't like. It's cool that it's there. But, like, I feel like they mostly do this just to bump up the price of the controllers. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like, definitely the PS4 controller, like, that light is the reason why those controllers die so fast.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, the goddamn touchpad thing, no one uses that.
It's useless, yeah.
Yeah, no one uses that outside of, like, the launch titles, like Infamous Second Son. I believe that game used it a lot, which I didn't mind, but, you know, a couple of other early PlayStation 4 titles used it a lot. But nowadays, you don't really see people use it all that much. If The Last of Us Part 2 uses it, I'm going to be very upset. But yeah, I mean, it's sort of like 6-axis controls on like the PS3.
Yeah,
like,
I remember that.
Like no one used that. And then when games later did use it, when it was like later on in the PS3's lifespan, like Sly Cooper 4 Thieves in Time, I was like, why is this shit in here? Why can't I turn it off? You know? But yeah, like it's just another gimmick, which is the first one. The second one I think is a little bit more interesting. Adaptive triggers. So they're gonna let developers program the resistance of the triggers so you can feel the something sensation of drawing a bow and arrow or accelerating off-road vehicle through rocky terrain. So pretty much they're gonna allow developers adjust like the tightness of the triggers, and it'll feel different from game to game depending if the developers want to use it. Once again, it's sort of like another thing that they're gonna just jack the controller prices up. But yeah, it's definitely a little bit more interesting for me personally than the haptic feedback.
Yeah, I mean, I would say the same thing. Like having the triggers be like, I guess, like more like you just feel stuff more. I guess that's pretty cool. But again, it's just like I don't really care that much. Like I don't think they ever actually even showed the specs for the PS5 really. Like I know the new Xbox they said, oh, we're gonna be focusing more on frame rate and like the SSD and stuff like that, so things load faster. I'm like, oh yeah, that's really cool. PS5, you know, like this is like the things they've been showing us, and I'm just like, okay. I'm still probably gonna get it because Xbox for me is kind of just useless because the PC exists, and now that they're so like codependent now that I just feel like I don't need an Xbox if you have a PC. So with PlayStation, I'm gonna buy it anyway because the exclusives and stuff. But yeah, I guess like it's cool. And I guess we could talk about more about how it was just like announced. Again, it was just announced like here it is, like in a blog post, and just it's very just like, oh, okay. I don't know, man. Like the way Sony's been like announcing things has been super weird. Like all the state of plays have been like super disappointing. Them not showing up to E3 was pretty weird, and now them just announcing the PS5 as a blog post. Like it just seems like it's just very odd how they've been doing things,
Yeah, definitely. Because like they could have dropped this during the state of play, like before they showed The Last of Us, or even after the Last of Us Part 2. There could have been like a representative or whatever been like, hey, we got some news on our next generation console. It's going to be called the PlayStation 5 and it's going to drop holiday 2020. And then they could have went on about the haptics and the triggers or whatever. This controller honestly is probably going to cost more than $100. Like the Joy-Cons already cost like $80 for both of them, which is okay, but like controllers were already like $60 like out of nowhere. I have no idea when controllers started getting expensive, like this expensive. I think it was like the PlayStation 3 and Xbox generation when that happened, but like now we're like on the borderline where like the controller's like 1/3 of the cost of the console.
Yeah, it just it is really annoying. They just keep cramming things into the controllers to make them more expensive. I'm like, stop it. I don't want all this useless stuff. Just give me the controller.
Yeah, pretty much. It's like, I don't need this touchpad on the PS4 controller, and I don't need this beaming light on it either. But it's there, so I'm pretty sure E3 we're going to officially see the consoles, like all of them, like PlayStation, Xbox, and whatever, so... this is definitely going to be very, very interesting because PlayStation's kind of behind in terms of like showing off their stuff because we know a lot about the next Xbox. Yeah. So hopefully before or by E3 we know a lot more about the PS5 because it's going to come out that holiday season. So better be goddamn ready.
Yeah, it's coming. It's coming quick. I mean, it's like more than a year off, but still, like it's a lot sooner than we probably thought. So. Yeah, hopefully they're actually at E3, so we could see something. But
yep.
All right, so here's the big news. Here we go. So Blizzard. All right, so a Hearthstone player called Blitz Chung, I think that's his name, his username anyway. Basically on stream after he won a Hearthstone tournament, supported Hong Kong during one of like the post match interviews. When they like interview the player and stuff like that. Yeah. And due to this, the player was banned from competitive Hearthstone for 1 year. He was not going to get his prize money for winning. And the two casters that interviewed him were fired or removed, but they were fired probably. So yeah, obviously this caused a massive outrage because just like them doing all this stuff like to like this one player was just like insane. Like just because he said these one I'm pretty sure they don't want politics to even be a part of, like if you win a tournament, they don't want you to push your political agenda. Like I get it, like devil's advocate right here. Like, I get it. Like, you don't want someone winning a tournament and be like, oh, whatever politic thing. But just how heavy the punishment was seemed like they were like super like offended, like no, don't do this, please. So like him banning him for a year, taking his prize money, and firing the 2 casters that interviewed him, that is just so over the top. That is just like insane, you know?
Mm-hmm. Like if there was like a league player that like after they won a match and like they did a interview and they said like Trump 2020 or some shit, like that would definitely like be like, yo, that's very interesting now. But like if Riot did that, like they would honestly get, if Riot did what Blizzard did, like they would honestly get as much shit as Blizzard is right now.
Oh yeah.
So like, you know, them doing this was very surprising, but at the same time, I think Blizzard has been going downhill for a while now. I'm not like a Blizzard nut, but like as like a outsider and as a person who has only played Overwatch and some Hearthstone pretty much in terms of like their games, you know, I'm kind of just like, that is fucked up.
Yeah, for me, it's really depressing because, you know, I love Blizzard. You know, I love Diablo, I love StarCraft, I like Warcraft, you know, I like Overwatch, you know. So seeing this has just been super depressing, honestly, because, you know, Overwatch came out like almost 4 years ago at this point, and I feel like after that point, like, you know, I just been like Blizzard's just kind of been doing whatever. So like I was very kind of disappointed with them, but now after this scene, it's just like, man, do I really want to support? Like, I'm not gonna delete my account because I put a lot of money in there.
Oh yeah.
But like it's still like I'm probably just not gonna like bother buying Blizzard games because they haven't been that great in the first place anyway. So like you know, I just don't see myself really supporting them. And Blizzard hasn't even released a statement to, you know, America yet, like the American audience, like apologizing or explaining what happened. And as a result, like apparently Blizzard employees have been staging a protest in response, which is good. Like I think they shouldn't like, you know, just like let this slide because that's just like a huge violation of like human rights right here. Just like, man,
it's like freedom of speech for us, but like outside of the U.S., it's kind of like iffy. Yeah, sometimes.
And it's just like, and again, the former Blizzard producer Mark Kern, he also joined Boycott Blizzard. And, you know, I gotta be sad to see, because, you know, a lot of really big Blizzard people left Blizzard like a while ago. So seeing this happen has to be pretty heartbreaking because, like, oh man, what are they doing? But yeah, and again, I get it. Like, you know, they don't want like political stuff being in your tournaments. Like, I get that. But the way they did it really seems like, you know, like China, like they don't want to upset China because they get the most money from China anyway. And, I think I forget what actual Chinese company owns Blizzard, or not.
I believe it's Tencent.
Is it Tencent? Like everything?
Tencent has like a share in Blizzard.
Yeah, but it's only like 5%. Like there's some companies that have a larger like margin. Like imagine if someone from that like said it from one of those companies that own a large. Like this is only 5%, and Blizzard's already like freaking out. Like I can only imagine if it was like a larger cut here, but yeah, it's basically just just not acceptable at all. Like it's just like this punishment is just so like harsh for no reason. Like it's just horrible. And now it's like in all the news, like it's like in like people like from actual news are talking about it. Like you know you messed up when people from actual news are talking about gaming politics.
Oh yeah, like on CNN and like Fox.
Yeah,
and all that stuff.
It's insane. Like the amount of reach this story has gotten so far. But yeah, like I don't want to get too much into like, you know, obviously the things going on in Hong Kong are horrible and like, you know, it's like, you know, really bad. In China, like their government, it's, you know, you know, when we started this podcast, I didn't thought we were going to be talking about national, like international affairs and stuff like that. But here we are. That's just gaming in 2019, I guess. But
yep.
Yeah,
everything has to be political for whatever reason.
Yeah, and again, like whether like you support Hong Kong or not, like I think everyone could agree that this punishment was just way too harsh and like just not acceptable from Blizzard at all. And the fact that it again didn't release any statements about what happened just is like it's telling, you know. The silence is like, you know, really deafening right now.
And like everyone that's like trying to like change their name or like delete their accounts, you know, go for it. Personally, I'm not gonna do that. But you know, if that's what you want to do, people have been changing their name to like Free Hong Kong, or like they've tried to, but like I think Blizzard blocked that now.
Yeah.
Where like you can't like change your name to like certain things. I wonder if people have tried Free Hong Kong but like backwards or something like that.
They probably should.
But I mean, yeah, it's just it just sucks, especially to those people that are huge fans of Blizzard. And BlizzCon is coming up.
Yeah, that's
November
gonna be very
1st,
very
so.
interesting to see. So it's like this is probably the worst PR nightmare I've ever seen any.
I mean,
game
yeah,
come
BlizzCon, and then on top of that, I believe Overwatch for the Switch comes out very soon.
Yep. Yeah.
So, Jesus Christ, like I'm not sure if Overwatch was gonna sell well on the Switch. Anyways, I think it was gonna.
I think it would have sold pretty well.
Yeah, but now either people are still gonna buy it because they don't care, or like they are. Or like they don't know about the news, honestly, because like buying Blizzard games now is kind of like you're supporting like the evil EA back then or something like that. You know?
It, like the Blizzard that I knew just doesn't exist anymore. It's just like Activision now, like, and it's just really sad. I mean, they said they weren't gonna do like any StarCraft games anymore, so you're kind of dead to me anyway. But still, it's just really sad to see like this company go down so hard. Like I feel like a lot of Western companies have been really going down hard this generation. Like Bethesda has not been like, you know, their games have just been constantly disappointing. BioWare has been like really disappointing. Valve hasn't made anything ever anymore. Blizzard is just now this. Like it's just really disappointing to see all these good Western developers just fall to like nothing. So yeah, it's just sad.
Yeah, definitely. Especially since like there are so many people that really like Blizzard and their games. Yeah. And, you know, now that they've just gone down this road of just like, yeah, we're fucking up, whatever. And like with cancel culture being like such like a popular thing these days because of Twitter and how the internet works now, like your company can go under overnight. And I think I don't think Blizzard is going to go under like that. I think that they're still going to be afloat for a little bit, but I'm just going to question how long Blizzard has before like they're just gone. Because like people that work for Blizzard, like I would imagine like they see this shit and it's like my fucking company did this. Oh, fuck.
Yeah, like the way they handled it was just so bad. And you know, usually I think I said this before, like I don't think boycotting really works, but just like the mass of people that like how big this story got in, I think it actually might work this time. And I kind of hope so, because I really want Blizzard to either like just change management completely or just like, they just don't, if they're going to continue like this, then they just deserve to like just fall into nothing really. Like it's just sad to see it happen. But, you know, with the internet as it is now, like it's, you know, if they really do succeed, then, you know, then that's fine, I guess.
Yeah, like no matter how badly you fuck up, like there's still gonna be people that support you, like no matter what, which is oddly strange. And especially with how the internet is, I guess there's just a couple of people that just don't care about that kind of stuff, and they're like, just be entertaining for me, you know, just like make games or like make YouTube videos, whatever the case may be, you know. And yeah, it just sucks that Blizzard really messed up, especially since that like they were kind of on the edge of like, you know, people still liking them and some people not much. So
yeah, because also last year I was blunder with the Diablo Immortals and like, do you guys have phones? My God. But then they were starting to bounce back a bit with WoW Classic, and everyone's like, oh, well, Blizzard's cool again. And then this happened. I just don't think they could recover from this. Like it was hard enough to recover from the do you guys not have phones thing. So this is just probably going to tarnish Blizzard forever, I think.
Yeah, definitely. Like this is going to go down in their legacy. If this happens to be like close to the end, like this is not good. So yeah. But is there anything else you would like to add, good stuff?
No, I think that's it.
All right. So thank you guys for listening to the Travis and Damian Podcast, episode 21. We will see you guys 2 weeks from now with another episode.
Later.